It was a very polite fit that was thrown yesterday.
If you're Schneider and Pete Carroll, if he brings it up, you talk about it. If he sends a text and says, "Hey, man, I know you probably heard what's going on. Yeah, we good? 3 question marks. We good?"
I would hope it would be done over a phone call, and I do think they have to acknowledge it. I mean,
okay,
what happens if they don't? Do you go down the route of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick if you don't acknowledge it? And again, it's not to make the apples to apples comparison. Those are 2 totally different situations, and there's also the element of Brady was 43. The Patriots decided that they weren't going to franchise tag him as well. Like there is a degree of freedom that Brady seemed to have at the end that I'm not sure Russell necessarily has. But what happens if this relationship sours and he isolates himself?
I don't see that happening. I think just with the way Pete Carroll is, he is going to try to get into the mind of his quarterback. He knows that he needs him. He works this differently. Pete's going to sit down and talk about your emotions and what are you feeling and what do you think we should do. I don't think there's any way that this goes sour. I think it goes sour if Russell just becomes reckless in the media, which I don't think he's going to do. He has no history of doing that. That's why this is such a big deal. People, oh my God, yes, Russell Wilson actually was like real and wasn't a robot and actually said how he felt. So it shocked the system real quick. Everyone's in padding mode right now. Relax. He's just a human being. And I think the way Pete Carroll is, he's not going to let it get to a place where they can't connect.
Let's go through the different things that Pete Carroll's had to deal with. Richard Sherman throwing a fit on the sideline because they threw a pass at the 1-yard line, then telling everybody why he was mad about them throwing a pass, then repeating all of that in addition to threatening Jim Moore's credential. He's been flipped off by Earl Thomas. He's had Marshawn Lynch go for extended periods of time without speaking directly to him. All of the different things. This is cute in comparison, right? Like Pete's dealt with, and they had a fist fight in their locker room before the Super Bowl. I mean, that's like Percy Harvin's running around there handing out black eyes, and it wasn't until he didn't go into a game that they've dealt with a severe amount of dysfunction, and this isn't even a ripple in comparison to that.
Probably not even a ripple, but it is a quarterback, so it's more important than any of those guys. No offense to those guys.
Well, for you, Paul, if you got a text, if you're in the role of John Schneider, Pete Carroll today, and you get a text from Russell Wilson, it says, "We good," 3 question marks. What's your approach?
I'm going to leave it on red.
See, you guys with these, I don't understand how that works.
Well, basically,
so that means that he knows that you've opened it.
He knows that I've opened it, but I'm not responding. Yes, because as someone who has dealt with people who have done that before, nothing drives me crazier. I lose my mind when someone leaves me on red and doesn't respond.
You're going to ghost him?
I'm gonna give him some time to think about why did I just text a "we good?" question mark, question mark, question mark. I'm gonna play passive aggressive games, which makes me a bit of a hypocrite, but that's how I would do it in that situation. But,
all right, Bump, and you're Russell Wilson, and he's left you on red. What are you thinking at that point? Are you sitting there stewing in your feelings? You're like, oh, maybe I screwed up here.
I'm thinking a little bit about it. Whatever you're left on red, you're like, dang, they're really not messing with me today, huh? All right, you're constantly picking up your phone every 2 minutes. Get a response, get a response.
Would you send the next text then?
I send them, all right then. That's it.
Okay.
Yes, all right then.
Okay.
This has completely backfired. Paul's decision to leave him on red, it's now been escalated to another level. It's now that he sees your passive aggressiveness and he raises it with an absolutely, okay. It's like that, huh?
Okay. Well, I think that's where you make a FaceTime call. Just really throw the old razzle-dazzle on him. Because this time we're going to be looking at each other face-to-face. And listen, if you duck my FaceTime call, I'm going to feel some type of way about that. I already feel some type of way.
That's when, and now, we're getting deep now. So now, you missed the FaceTime, you hit them with that automated response, we'll call back soon, or something like that. You know, just keep it real simple.
We're getting really petty.
This is such a... And you're right, Bump, is that this is only a big deal because of Russ. And even when you're saying, hey, he's just responding to questions, you don't want him to be dishonest, you don't want him to, and my general reaction to that is, man, I've interviewed Russell Wilson and seen Russell Wilson interviewed for 8 years, and if he doesn't want to say anything, he is perfectly capable of giving you an answer that says absolutely nothing. Like if he had a point he wanted to make yesterday, and he wasn't backing away from it, and he wasn't. This is significant because of who Russell is and because he's been so steady. He is the guy that you can trust to handle any question that's thrown at him, to diffuse it and make it sound. And he had a point he wanted to make yesterday. And I'll be interested to see. I think there's a question for him where it goes from here. Is this the start of him being more outspoken or more demanding in that way? Because that's a route guys can take. Or will he kind of feel like, yeah, you know what, I probably got a little over my skis yesterday. I understand why I felt that way, but it's probably best if I don't air it in public like that. That I got a little too far out there. I'll be interested to see how he deals with it going forward, because I honestly think Pete and John are just going to not ignore it, but I don't think there's going to be some big summit that comes out of this, and they're going to pretend we have to revisit the way we do. I mean, they've been flipped off before. I don't think that a Zoom press conference is going to phase them and make them think we've got to have a summit here to create some sort of new peace treaty.
I guarantee you, Russell will not speak of that situation the same way again. If he does, I will come on this show and I will wear a Boston Celtics jersey. If Russell Wilson speaks on that situation the same way, is he going to have to talk about it? Yes, because he's going to be asked about it. But he's not going to do it in the same way. He's already gotten it out there, whether he regrets it or not. It's out there. He's going to move on.
I'll make it easy for you. You can wear my Rondo jerseys. You know, he's more recently a Laker.
Okay. I can appreciate that.
Rondo's the most likable, unlikable player in the NBA. Like I was telling someone this, like he's the most likable, unlikable player in the NBA because he'll drive you nuts even if he's on your team, but he's generally a fairly likable dude.